Introducing Emily Kame Kngwarreye. She was born in 1910 and lived until 1996. She is one of the most prominent and successful artists in the history of contemporary Indigenous Australian art. To put it simply, contemporary art is the art of today. It is constantly changing to remain current with the issues that are relevant to our society. Contemporary artists use new and innovative technology to explore new ideas and concepts. The Petunia Tula art movement, which is the iconic dot painting technique, was formed in the 1970s and has a big influence over contemporary Indigenous Australian art, which can be seen in the works of Emily. Emily spent most of her life in an isolated community in the Northern Territory called Utopia. We learned about the Northern Territory last week, but just to refresh your memory, Utopia is located in the heart of the Northern Territory and is a whopping 3,021 kilometres away from us. Emily is an Indigenous woman and was an established elder within her Indigenous community. This meant that she took the lead role in ceremonies that the community held and was taught to create ceremonial sand paintings and to paint decorative designs on women's bodies. It wasn't until Emily was nearly 80 years of age that she began to paint purely for artistic purposes. Although she started late, this didn't stop her ability to create many artworks along the way. It is estimated that she produced over 3,000 paintings in the course of her 8-year painting career. Can anyone do the math? Let's see, there's roughly 365 days in a year, times 8 years, which equals 2,920. 3,000 divided by 2,920 equals just over 1. That's an average of 1 painting per day. She was a busy woman. Emily started her artistic career by working in the medium of batiks, which is a method of decorating cloth by applying designs in hot wax to the fabric, leaving certain sections of the fabric without colour, followed by using coloured dyes to decorate the other sections that aren't covered in wax. Emily's work belongs to the Utopian art movement, which was formed by a group of Indigenous ladies in 1977. She in fact even became founding member of the movement. In 1988, the Aboriginal artists at Utopia were introduced to the mediums of canvas and acrylic paint, which enabled them to produce paintings on an even broader scale than they had been able to working within the batik medium. Stories of the land, as we now know, are called the Dreamtime, as well as the ceremonial traditions of Utopia, became a major focus for painting within this group, as their Aboriginal culture held a strong connection with their community and their land. International exposure almost came overnight when her painting, The Emu Woman, was chosen to be the cover of an art magazine in Sydney. To create her paintings, Emily would lay her artworks on the ground and sit beside it or on top of it, allowing her to be physically connected to her work as well as the land that drives her passion for art. Emily's work resembles that of the great Claude Monet. Claude was an influential French modernist painter whom explored colour to express form and subject matter. Emily, however, had no knowledge of his work. She has simply used her own knowledge and skill to capture her own views and how she saw the world. Emily explores the elements of dots, lines and colour to express her views of the land surrounding her. Let's have a look at these techniques in closer detail and then you can have a go yourselves. The first element that we are going to explore is Emily's use of dots. In her paintings, she uses a multiple layering technique of dots to reveal links between places and people. The building up of the layers may be interpreted as her ancestors' journey through life or as root systems within the ground, building up from small beginnings. As explained before, the dot technique is a contemporary art form explored by many Indigenous Australian artists. However, none have explored as deep as Emily. Through the ever-changing sizes of her dots and the single to triple layering, we can see the seeds from plants scatter across the plains, as well as the changing of seasons through the variety of colours used. This painting was created in 1989 and was named Yam after the seeds that grow from cane plants, in which her middle name was named after. She used synthetic polymer paint on canvas to complete it, and the sizing is 90 centimetres times 60 centimetres. It is only fitting that these dots represent the variety of shapes and sizes of the seeds that the cane plant holds. The colours of the dots also represent the desert region of Utopia. Now it's your turn. Let's go and find some seeds outside and see how we go using the dot technique to explore the seeds within our school garden. The second element that we are going to explore is Emily's use of lines. These lines contrast that of the dots that we have previously seen. She began using the dot technique as a tradition, but later moved into the technique of lines. These lines resemble the body art she used to create on women before ceremonies. The process of creating art on Indigenous women's bodies is called alwaya. As a result of this period of her life, we can see her roots shine through with the alwaya technique. As well as representing ceremonial markings, lines are also used in a lot of modern artworks in a way to express meaning. This artwork is made up of 6 panels that use slightly differing colours and brush techniques in each. It was made in 1994 and was untitled, but has been known as alwaya as the painting is directly referring to that technique. She used synthetic polymer paint on canvas to complete it, and the sizing of each panel is 190 centimetres by 56.7 centimetres. As discussed, the lines represent the various markings that were drawn on Indigenous women's bodies, and the colours represent the dusty desert and the dry months that we explored a few weeks ago. This artwork successfully challenges the boundaries that are placed between traditional and contemporary art, as well as being both local and international. Let's explore some different brushstroke techniques and create a masterpiece. The third element that we are going to explore is Emily's use of wonderful colours. By looking at past artworks, we can see the use of colour abundantly in each artwork. The artworks completed in 1992 and 1994 have been described as Emily's high colourist phase. This is including hot pinks, oranges and electric blues. Her colour influence comes from the vast, ever-changing seasons. Dusty browns appear in her canvases during the dry seasons, and greens appear after the rains, which Emily referred to as the green time. When wildflowers spread across the desert, she used a spectrum of yellows. This artwork was created in 1994 and was named Earth's Creation. This was without a doubt the crux of Emily's short but very successful career. It is a 4-panelled piece with each panel measuring at a whopping 275 centimetres by 160 centimetres. That is double the height of an average sized man. This artwork depicts elements of her hometown Utopia and the land that the Indigenous culture have lived on for so many years. As the colours show, this artwork was created in the green time. Can anybody tell me why? Yes, the colours of blue, yellow, green and a tiny bit of red are used throughout. Let's see how much you would pay for this painting. Well, in 2007, Earth's Creation became the first work by a female Australian artist and the first Aboriginal artwork to break the $1 million mark at auction. Pretty impressive stuff. Let's see if you can create a $1 million artwork by recreating her amazing green time artwork. This unit of work, as well as a video, has been designed and implemented for Stage 3 students. Some of the concepts spoken about within the video are quite complex, but these will be explained and explored in further detail to students within the unit. Before introducing the artist, students will engage in an activity that allows them to become familiar with the Northern Territory and its histories, as well as the Dreamtime. This has been implemented so as to provide students with background knowledge to the place where Emma grew up, as well as some important information about Indigenous traditions that will be discussed further throughout the unit. As Emma has such variety in her artworks, I wanted the students to explore as much as possible. To achieve this, the video will be broken into sections. Each section will form an introduction to various lessons throughout the unit, building background knowledge and appreciation for the artwork before making and recreating. The artifact that I'm submitting in response to the artist's work is within Section 3. Before creating the artifact, students are introduced to a range of brushstroke techniques that Emily uses and will respond using the same layout but using colours of their favourite season in order to make the learning significant to the student. I have chosen to represent the dry season. Unfortunately, because Emily passed away many years ago, I was unable to obtain an interview with her or find an appropriate interview online. All other relevant information is noted within the unit outlines submitted through Turnitin.